Hello fan, could you say the real value, the size of the financial importance that this classification of Spurs for the next phase of the Champions League brings to the club? Well, when we think about Antonio Conte's intentions for future reinforcements at the club, we must analyze the following. This Champions League victory will have far-reaching ramifications beyond what it simply means on paper. It was apt that Antonio Conte should be celebrating wildly behind chairman Daniel Levy, after that Hudger goal crashed in off the left-hand post, for the two men, along with director of football Fabio Paratici, who was down on the bench, will now be able to plot what comes next with a little bit more oomph. Not only will this victory hand Spurs a boost of confidence on the pitch, but it will also make their January transfer window exploits that little bit smoother. What does this mean for Conte's January demands? Well, the last win will bring more finances to the club, as reaching the round of 16 earns Tottenham an additional £8.2 million in prize money alone, without taking into account TV revenue, gate receipts and more. Even simply winning the match on the night was the difference between a cash boost of £2.4 million for each group stage victory, and £800,000 for each draw in the money-spinning competition. Being in the knockout stages of the Champions League is also a big pull for any prospective target Spurs will look to sign in January, in what is expected to be a busy market after the World Cup, as clubs react to what happens at that tournament, and in the first half of the fragmented season. We must understand that after improving the quantity of the Tottenham squad, or numerical aspect as Conte called it, during the summer, they will focus purely on improving the quality of it in January. The Spurs head coach has been frustrated that he has been unable to change games with his bench with ready-made players after a couple of attacking injuries, and that will be addressed in January. The talented but lightweight Bryan Gil is expected to be allowed to head out on loan to get the regular football he needs to continue to develop, and in his place Spurs will look for a player who can be a direct alternative to the creative Dejan Kulusevski. Conte's team has sorely missed the Swede throughout his hamstring injury-enforced absence, with no other wide player providing his combination of playmaking, creativity and work rate. At the back, Japhet Tanganga has seen little game time, and he could also be allowed to head out of the club, with interesting in his services among some Serie A clubs in the summer. His exit would come if Spurs are confident they can upgrade their options in the back line. The same applies across the squad if there is interest in players after the World Cup that Conte deems expendable. If a better replacement can be found, Spurs will benefit from the extra boost in Champions League money, as well as the increasing revenue pouring in from a full season of an open and busily used Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, including the money-spinning NFL games, concerts, and other sporting events such as Tyson Fury taking on Derek Chisora in an all-British WBC World Heavyweight Championship fight next month. Then there is the remaining £50 million of the £150 million capital increase made available by owners, ENIC, at the end of last season. So far the club have declared an equity injection of £100 million to Companies House, which was filed in late June. There is an incentive for ENIC to make the remaining £50 million available, which may be drawn in tranches until the end of the year. That is because in the original unveiling of the £150 million capital increase it was stated that, if drawn in full, ENIC's ownership of the club could see an increase from its current level of 85.6% to circa 87.5% on conversion. The break for the World Cup will present plenty of extra planning time to make the right moves in the January transfer window, and Conte has consistently spoken about this being a multi-window project, but that the club could not afford to make mistakes. Conte said last week, "I think the club understand very well the importance of bringing in important players, good players, in January. I'm not the person who has to explain this to my club." He added, "This season will be more difficult than last season because after the transfer market you have seen many teams have spent a lot. You have to face a lot of big teams. For sure there will be the time to speak with the club, to understand what is the best solution for us. This is not the right moment to answer. Since November now, and after 1 year, I understood a lot of things. The first moment for me was really difficult to understand. Now I am going into the Tottenham world. I understand very well what our situation is, what is our position, what is our starting point, how long is our path to be competitive and to fight for something important. Now for sure my knowledge about Tottenham is more complete. For this reason I will be prepared for the moment when we speak with the club and understand what is best for the future. For now we need to focus on the present because we want to do our best in the present. My desire, my will and of the players is to do our best and give satisfaction to the fans. That is the best aspiration of everybody. For the other situations, we will see the right moment. Conte's contract will also be discussed. Spurs' option to extend it whenever they want to the summer of 2024 means there is less pressure on them to rush into any jump in salary for one of the world's best-paid managers. However, with the team through to the knockout stages of the Champions League, and with the potential of ending the first half of the season in the Premier League's top 3 or 4, depending on this weekend's result against Liverpool, it would be remiss not to reward the Italian for what it brings to the club. While the football has not been eye-catching on the whole, that Spurs are just 5 points off the top of the table in third place without hitting top gear will not have gone unnoticed, and neither will the improvement on and off the pitch at the club in the past 12 months. Handing Conte a new contract will provide stability, as much as one can with the emotional Italian, to the club's stars, and increase the chances of them committing their own future to longer deals. Backing him with quality transfers could be crucial at this pivotal part of the campaign. Levi sitting so close to Conte on a mild Tuesday night in Marseille and understanding firsthand what Spurs are, and can be feels like perfect timing, and it might just be a defining moment in the club's season. And you Spurs fan, what do you think of this matter? Comment, because your opinion is very important to us.